Welcome back, ladies and gents. Probably mostly gents, but it's good to be back. I know that I said I was going to pull out a Tolster ARC holster review. That's still coming. Some things changed throughout that. I added a Filster Enigma to that setup, and I'm loving it, so coming soon. Just going to bundle it all up with that. Today, I usually set up nice, I shower, I get rid of all the toys, but today's message is so important that I decided to just dub all that. We're going to talk about an elephant in the room for what is probably most men. And, the good Lord tells us to confess our sins to each other. And if I can help one person by opening up about this experience, then it's a win. The first time I laid my eyes on porn, I must have been about 10 years old. I was flipping through the channels on cable, those old school big ass cable boxes, and the program highlighted the TV remote and it highlighted the authorization button. So it highlights it in orange, and I'm a 10-year-old kid looking at that same remote in my hand. So yeah, I'm gonna press it. And I pressed it, and there it was, cheeks clapping away. It wasn't long before I had the girl from across the hall, who was the same age as me, coming over to watch with me. And we used to sit next to each other and just watch it. She had a VHS too. I think it was her mother's, and she found it, and we used to watch that too. And I thank God that we didn't do anything. I guess we knew we wanted to do something, but even though it was happening in front of us, we didn't know what we wanted to do. Going to school, classmates would bring dirty magazines. And before you know it, I was 12, 13 years old, on the desktop, home alone, finding my way to porn, masturbating. And by the time I was 15, I was playing hooky to bring girls home and have unprotected sex. And when my girlfriend's mother found out, she put her on birth control, which didn't help these matters. Things fell through with her, but I carried on with this trend, and I was 16, 17, 19, with sex and girls being the primary focus of everything I did. I had hobbies, I had friends and whatnot, but it was the motivating force in my life. And it was throughout most of my 20s as well. Just never focusing on myself to build myself up into something better. And like most of us, everything around me, everyone around me normalized it. Normalized porn, watching porn every day. Normalized just being obsessed with sex and women constantly. And we were taught to measure our masculinity in that sense by how much attention we could get from women, how many women we could sleep with. It was a measuring stick for how much of a man you are. And it wasn't until so many years later that I realized just how up that is. I used to sleep around, lie my ass off. One day I even set out to lie down with 3 women within a 24-hour period. And it's something I used to brag about, and it was all unprotected. And now there's no way that I could encourage that type of behavior for my sons. When I met my wife, I did clean my act up enough to where I cut off all the women from my past. So I've been faithful to her from day one. I always will be. But I was still watching porn. And I thought that was okay. And I don't know if it was a year or two into it, but I finally started to see this wasn't normal, and it was damaging our marriage. When I stopped, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I stopped cold turkey, excuse me, and never had an issue again. I still slip up sometimes. It's hard to say on camera, but these days I'm doing pretty well. When I made the change, we got closer. I got more attracted to my wife. Our intimacy improved. I stopped thinking about sex as much. I stopped undressing every woman that I found attractive. And I gotta tell you, that relief is is worth it. I can't sit here and say that giving porn up is going to be easy for a single man. I mean, I weaned myself off of it having a partner. So I can't imagine trying to do that with no girlfriend, no wife. But I'm telling you, brothers, you got to start the fight. I wish I spent more time. I'm not even going to say in my teenage years. I was a teenager. But I wish I spent more time in my 20s working on myself. There was a time from 27 to 29, I would say, where I got my heart broken so bad from this relationship that I decided to just stop dealing with women totally for about 2 years. I didn't have sex for 2 years. And in that time, I found a great job and I moved out of my parents and I got my own place. And that really boosted my confidence. But I was watching porn the whole time. A lot of it. So that wasn't good. I did these things because I thought they brought me happiness. You know, I chased women because there was a void I was trying to fill. I was always chasing a woman to make me happy. I was miserable when I didn't have a woman in my life. I used porn and masturbation, like a drug to just feel better. You get that high and then would just feel terrible like shit afterwards. We all know what that's like. But semen retention is a thing, fellas. You gotta try it. I mean, the energy that I have is unparalleled. I mean, it's common sense when you think about it. I mean, you're dispelling energy. When you're popping one off every day and multiple times a day, don't question why you feel so weak and shitty all the time.
Women weaken legs.
When there's a particular girl around or a girl they think is attractive, they get all rowdy and noisy and you see us, we don't know how to act sometimes. And we think it's cool, we think it's masculine, and it's not. Discipline is masculine. Self-control is masculine. There's too many of us men out here who think we can have unattached sex and just take a piece of ass and not get attached and connected with a woman. But even if you don't have romantic feelings for her, whatever her traumas are, whatever her issues in her life are, they're gonna be yours. I promise you. Promiscuity damages men too. So like I said, I don't want this for my sons. I won't have it. And for my daughters, I hate to see men ignoring their purpose, ignoring their passions, ignoring the inner voice in them to chase women.
She got a great ass. And you got your head all the way up it.
And chase toxic women who aren't good for them. Watching young men ignore red flags in women so they could have a nice, easy, consistent piece of ass. I've been there. I ain't knocking you. I used to do it all the time when I was younger. But I see these women draining the life from these guys. I know of 2 very young guys, 20, 21 years old, that are in relationships with women. They don't have kids, and these women are abusive physically and verbally, and they're damaging these guys. And these are 2 good young guys. They don't hate these women, but these women need to get help, and these guys, they're breaking away from them now, and I'm happy to see that. But one of them I told months ago, if you don't get away from this girl, she's gonna f your life up. And not too long ago, she pretended to be in distress in public, and she got him jumped and robbed by like 3 or 4 dudes. Stomped the hell out, took his money, f up his car. So that was rock bottom for him. But he seems to be on the right track now, and I'm happy to be there at his side. I also know of 2 men that recently were caught cheating on their wives. We already know what that does to a home, especially with children in it. All this stuff is going on around me. There's even others that I'm thinking of Guys, if any of you guys are watching, I don't mean any disrespect. I'm not here to judge you. I've made all those same mistakes before, and I just want to try to be a positive influence for somebody that I wish I had when I was in those positions. You know, don't worry, guys. I'm not putting your business out there by name and whatnot. Turn off the porn. Unfollow these thoughts on Instagram, popping squats and thongs. You know, it starts there, and that's how you end up on porn. You gotta stop overlooking red flags in women so you can have a piece of ass. It's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. Take it from me, man. I've dealt with some toxic women, man. I'm not trying to say I don't have my own toxicity. I'm not. You know, but we're not here to talk about what women do. We're here to hold ourselves accountable. You got a void in you. You got some pain. You got to figure that out. You don't have to figure that out right now, but fill that void with God. Fill it with Christ. And if you're not with that, then still fill it with exercise. Fill it with your hobby. Go outside, touch grass, get sunlight, you know, move your body, man. I'm telling you from experience, this is going to soothe your pain. Maybe not completely, but you got to do it, man. You keep on chasing instant gratification, you're going to be stuck in the same cycle. You know, you bust that nut, you're at the top of the world. And then what happens? You know, we all know what that feeling is like. But when you fill that void with truly positive, healthy, constructive things, that's true peace. That stays. That lasts. There's no drop off when you're doing what's right for yourself. Whether you believe in the good Lord or not, today is the day that you have to start taking control over your body, your mind, and your soul. Whether you know me through the internet, if you know me locally, I'm here. I'm here if you want to talk. Come through. We can kick it in the backyard, work out, fire up the grill. There's not enough places for men to get shit off their chest, man. And it's becoming something that's very important to me. And I want to encourage other men to open up. I want to encourage other men to get on the right track, you know? So I'm here for y'all, man. I'm here. And we're going to roll out. And I want to leave you with some Bible verses relevant to lust. Matthew 5:28, but I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. John 2:16, for all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. Galatians 5:16, but I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Colossians 3:5, put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you, sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Peter 5:8, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Oh, man, that's fire, man. Timothy 2:22, so flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Corinthians 6:18, flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexually immoral person sins against his own body. Oh, fire, yo. Proverbs 6:25, do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes. Yo, these dudes are spitting, yo. And finally, Peter 2:11, beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from the passions of the flesh, which wage war against your soul. It's not easy, fellas, but nothing good comes easy. Fight, man. Fight like your life's on the line. You know, put yourself in a spot like you're in the ring or something, man. Fight the fight. Let's fight together. I love you guys. Christ is King. God bless everybody.